Hello, Crazy Yuri here, and today we're going to try something a little different. I've never made a tier list before, and I've noticed that a number of other creators for FGO content, they'll create tier lists for how good they think characters are, like, what are the top Lancers, what are the top Berserkers, and so forth. I've decided I'm going to do something a little different, though, and that is, what is my perception of a character's opinion of me based on my gacha luck, meaning how much does a character like me based on how often they show up in the gacha. I've not seen anybody else do anything like this, so I figured, and I've floated around this idea in my head for a little while now, so I thought, why not, let's try it out, see how it goes. So how will this work? So first I've got these categories here based on their opinion, from they show up so much that they probably think I'm their spouse, to they absolutely hate me, to unknown, which is I've simply not tried to get them, and then does not apply, which I'll put welfare servants in here, but also anyone who's in the general pool who's 3-star or below, because at a certain point you're just going to get these characters anyway. So it doesn't really feel like there's much point in putting them up here, and also they'll just crowd the list. Anyway, let's get to it. So this whole list has every servant in the game up until current release on JP, but I don't play JP, so currently the Halloween event is going on NA. That's the one with Jacques de Molay, Zenobia, and Cinderella Elizabeth. So I'm not going to include any servants after that because I've never had a chance to go for them. So without any more ado, let's get to it. So first off, Abigail Williams, unknown, because I've not tried to roll for her ever, I don't think. At the very least, the fact that I don't have any memory of that pretty much tells me, okay, I'm not really bothered. Achilles likes me. I have never personally tried to roll for Achilles, but he's a general pool SSR, and he's showed up twice. I have him at NP2, so I would say he's fairly fond of me. Alexander, I'm just going to put him in, does not apply. Amakusa Shiro does not like me. I've thrown a few rolls his way, and he's not shown up. And in fact, he's the only character from Fate Apocrypha that I do not have in my Chaldeus, so, I don't know what his deal is. Semiramas is there, but nope, he won't show up. Similar case for Anastasia. I've thrown a few her way, but she's never shown up at any point whatsoever, which is a shame because AoE caster is actually kind of one of my odd weak points. So, it would actually be really nice if she showed up. For the 6th anniversary 5-star ticket that we got, I ended up getting Lancer Artoria because I wanted to get a story-locked character that I wouldn't otherwise be able to get, But if it didn't have the story-locked characters, I might very well have picked Anastasia. Anyway, Angra Mainyu, rarest character in the game. Not for me, though. I'm gonna say he probably likes me because he showed up fairly early on when I started playing. I don't have the exact date right here, but he was definitely one of the early arrivals. I got him MP5 during last year's Gura event. That's the one where Himiko and Saito Hajime showed up. And because, that was the one where if you saved up all your FP to get copies of Nobukatsu, was a great time to spend your FP. That event is going to be most likely rerun after this Halloween event, so if you have a lot of friend points, that's the best time to spend them. And last I checked, I believe when that event happened, I had 10 million FP and I spent 9 of it. This time I have just north of 11, so I'm probably going to spend most of that this time as well, because we're also going to get the Grail casting soon enough with Tunguska, I believe, which is in December. So, not far off, probably just over 2 months from now. And I definitely need some Grails. Anyway, Summer, Anne, and Mary, unknown. I've never gone for them. That's the thing with 4-star characters, especially now with the combined rate-ups that they have. It just doesn't feel worth going for them because, if you're trying to get one particular character, but there's several 4-stars on the same banner, it's like, do I even bother? Are these characters even worth going for? Shouldn't I save up for somebody better? That, all those trains of thought. As for the regular Anne and Mary, I would say they're fairly decent opinion of me. They showed up fairly early on, They were one of my first General Pool SRs, sorry, to get MP5, so they're definitely up there. Summer Marie, gonna put her on unknown because of same reasons as Summer and Mary. As for regular Marie, I'm gonna go with neutral for her because she showed up. I did eventually get her MP5, but it took a while. Arash does not apply. Arjuna, he definitely likes me. He has the same story as Achilles, though his story actually is a bit. So my first MP5 SSR was Summer Musashi. That was a year plus ago, where I tried to, it was the Summer 4 rerun event, and I had her at MP3, so I thought, okay, I'll throw a few, see if I can get MP4, maybe even MP5. I got MP4 fairly quickly, and then it was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do it. She could be my first MP5 SSR. I'm going to try to go for it. Did a roll, had the rainbow lights pop up, boom, and it was Arjuna. And it was kind of irritating on the one hand because I was hoping it would be MP5 Musashi, but at the same time it was also my first Arjuna. So later on, about a few months ago during the Morgan banners, he showed up again in much the same way. It was like, oh, I was hoping this was Morgan, but no, it's Arjuna. I did get MP5 Summer Musashi like 2 multis later though, so, that story ended well. Let's see. Regular Arthur. I have not tried to roll for him. Saber Lily, I'd say neutral for her. Same story with Angermanu. I didn't get her as early. In fact, I think the first time I got her was during the big FP spending spree that was last year's Goda 5. And if you roll 9 million FP, you're going to get the character eventually. And I got her at MP5 during that. I'm counting for the same thing for Habatrot this year. I haven't spent any of my FP trying to get Habatrot. I do have her at MP2 though. I did get her in a daily FP roll recently, so I'm hoping to get 3 more MP levels for Habatrot. I guess I spoiled. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna pull Habatrot up just for the fun of it. Habatrot unknown, just because I haven't really tried yet. Saber definitely likes me. She was actually my first SSR ever was Napoleon, then it was Maonobu, then it was the 4th Annie GSSR, and then a few rolls there, which ended up getting me a spook of regular Saber. There was the SSR ticket during, what was it, the 18 mil download campaign? I forget. It was last year. It was the banner when regular Musashi was up and Jolter was up, and there was an SSR ticket. I actually used it on her because she was MP1 at the time, so I was like, I could use a really strong Saber. I'm going to get the original Saber to MP2. And then 2 more of her showed up, so now she's MP4. So I kind of wish I hadn't spent that ticket on her, but of course, how could I know that I'd get spooked 2 more times? That's just how it goes. Summer Ska Hawk does not apply. I don't have her. For the evocation thing that they're doing on JP, I'm really looking forward to that, because as I kind of hinted, I only started playing in June of 2021, so there's a lot of older welfare servants I do not have, and Summer Ska Hawk was one of the first, so of course I don't have her. Stereos does not apply. Astolfo. I'd say neutral. It took Astolfo a bit to show up, but when they did, hooray. Always liked Astolfo. Not the most useful of characters, but probably one of the shining points of Apocrypha for sure. Estrella, neutral. Kind of a similar story. Actually, I got them MP5 fairly recently. If I remember correctly, the last copy showed up during was it the Oberon or the Morgan rolls after Oberon? It was one of those. Anyway, she's MP5 now. Atalanta Alter definitely likes me. She shows up quite a bit for my own rolls. As for a regular version, though, she doesn't like me very much. It took a very, very long time for her to show up, And if I remember right, she's only like MP3, which compared to a lot of regular general pool SRs is really low for the ones that I have. So, does not apply. Altera. She spooked me at one point, so was it Little Big Tengu? I believe so. Only have her at MP1, but I was happy that she showed up. I've always liked Altera, if only for the civilization memes. Sabron does not apply. Babbage. Jack definitely likes me. It's been a long time since I've seen Jack, but their MP3, they were actually... I've grailed Jack to 100, because they were my first single target assassin of note, and one of my earliest SSRs in general, actually. So I've always liked... I don't like Jack's design. I like Jack's first ascension, but not the rest. I'm sure someday I'll have to make a video on Jack, and I'll get into that. Vlad, he spooked me once, so... he was actually a runner for... I mentioned I used the ticket on Lancer Artoria for Summer 6. He was a contender for getting it so I could get him to MP2 as a strong single-target berserker, but I held off on that. Summer BB... I threw a few rolls her way, but nothing. She doesn't like me very much. Regular BB doesn't apply. I do have her, though. Very useful. Bedivere definitely likes me. He showed up fairly quickly, and I know I'm going to sound like a psycho saying this, but I did throw a handful of rolls at Story at one point, and Bedivere got MP5 that way. So, hooray for him. Benny Enma, I've not tried to roll for Benny Enma, which is kind of I would have. So I thought about rolling for Benny Enma, but then I ended up getting regular Musashi, and it was like, do I really need another single-target Saber? Beowulf, yeah, he likes me. He's shown up a good amount. The Valks, that reminds me. I'm going to have extra pictures of the Valks in here, aren't I? I'll just use Thrud here. Is that Thrud? Whichever, it's one of the Valks. I'm going to go with neutral for them, because it took a very, very long time for them to get past MP1 in my setup. Brynhilde, I have not tried to roll for Brynhilde. Is she? No, she's limited. Carmilla definitely loves me. She shows up all the time. It's actually kind of perplexing, though I try to make good use of her. She's actually surprisingly powerful as a single-target assassin for the moments when I don't want to bring somebody like Jack out. Party costs and whatnot. Caster Ku. Similar story with Bedivere in this case. Caster Gilgamesh. This is a difficult one between these two. He showed up I'm going to go here because I think he was one of, if not the first of the SRs I got at MP5, not counting Kagetora. But that doesn't really count because she's welfare. Does not apply. Chacha was before my time. I'll get her someday, hopefully. Chiron, neutral. He's shown up a few. It did eventually get him all the way done, but he's not very remarkable. Cersei. Definitely up here. She's actually she was my most valuable single target caster, and in a way she still is. Ilya in the back to school campaign for on NA that was like 2 months ago, roughly, month and a half ago, got me another Ilya, so she might take over for Cersei, but Cersei plays a major role whenever I need a single target caster, and she showed up. She was one of my first Gen Pool SRs as well. Cleopatra, definitely up here. I only have Cleopatra at MP1, but I threw like 2 tenors at her banner during the Amazonas event, and she showed up right away, so that's what gets her there. Columbus, neutral. He's Columbus. I don't particularly like him, but he has shown up. Get that out of the way. Get him out of the way, too. Ku Alter. I'm gonna go with likes because it was Little Big Tengu that they had Mave and Ku Alter, and now I'm gonna get Mave up here as well. They showed up fairly easily, actually. Both of them did. in like 2 or 3 multis. I got both of them, and that was a... Actually, you know what? With that kind of luck, I'm gonna put them up here, because, you know, you show up that quickly, that easily. I would say that's, you know, they definitely like me quite a lot. Da Vinci, I've never tried to get normal Da Vinci. Edmond Dantes, definitely up here. MP1, similar story. The difference is that I pulled him in like 7 tickets or something like that. It's not the best luck I've ever had. We'll get to that one later, but he's definitely one of the top ones. And also he got tons of work during the early days, because I did, you know, that was before Castoria, before Koyanskaya, so it was the Scotty era, and he was the first character I really got going for that. Get these 3 out of here. Kato Danzo. I'd say they like me a good amount. I think they were on the 4th anniversary banner, and I managed to max them out fairly early on. Chevalier de Aeon, neutral. It took them a while to show up, but they managed to get there. I don't use Daeon very much, but, you know, Drake, definitely up here, because I have MP4 Drake, despite never going for them. They'd almost cross up into this territory, but not quite. There's some other characters who are going to be there. We will get to them in due time. Emia Altera. I'd say he likes me a fair bit, because he showed up in one of those random story roles. And if you get anybody who's story locked in a random story role like that, that in itself is kind of a wow. Someone useful actually showed up. I can't believe it. Edison, neutral. He did show up during a banner. It was, I believe it was for President's Day last year, 2022. And I was actually going for Tesla. No, I was going for Edison. The banner was Edison and Tesla. I was going for Edison because he's story locked. I figured, okay, I'll throw like 2 or 3 multis at this, and, you know, we'll see how this goes, and hopefully I get, you know, Edison. I did get Edison, but I also got 2 Teslas, and he's been proving quite useful, especially recently, since we got the Koyanskaya system now. Since I mentioned that, where is Tesla? Where are you, Tesla? I have no idea, because there's so many faces here. I'm probably wasting all of your time right now, and somebody who is watching this, there he is. There you go. Somebody was probably screaming because they saw exactly where he was, but I didn't. Hopefully that wasn't too obnoxious. Sorry about that. Emia Assassin. I say neutral for him. He's shown up every once in a while, but, you know, he hasn't stood out like crazy. Emia, regular Emia. He was the second to last of the Gen Pool SRs for me to get. So I would have actually put him down into the dislike or even hates category. But then after I got him at MP1, he suddenly started showing up a lot more. So I'm going to go with neutral for him, because he might have disliked me for a while, but he came around later. Enkidu. Oh, Enkidu. There you go. Because I have you at MP4. I tried to roll for you once, which was a Gilgamesh Enkidu banner, and I got 2 of them and 2 multis. And then Enkidu spooked me shortly after that, and then Enkidu spooked me again very recently. When was this? I believe it was during the Summer 6 rolls. I threw a few rolls at Summer Kama. I got MP4 Enkidu instead. So Enkidu's definitely up there. Actually, you know what? For that, MP4, yeah. You're getting the top category for that. Ereshkigal. Few rolls here and there. Got him at MP2. Nothing outrageous, but neutral for them. Fion shows up every once in a while, but nothing crazy. Frankenstein. Same story. I know, that's probably boring. Asagami Fujino definitely likes me, because I threw a few rolls at her during Summer 5, the first Summer 5, and she showed up at MP4. So, very quickly, too. So, I'm really happy about that, because she was because it took me a really long time to get a good single target archer, and so for a good bit of time there, she was the one that I used. Throw him out of the way. Gawain. So during the Oberon rolls, I was actually kind of hoping, I was hoping that Oberon wouldn't, drain every quartz I had left after Morgan, Melusine, and Coins Gaia. But I was also hoping that I could get Gawain on Oberon's banner, and not only did he show up twice. So he gets up here. Gilgamesh likes me. I have him at MP3. Gilles de Rais, neutral. Gorgon definitely likes me. Got her at MP4 because there was a banner. It was one of the first banners I ever rolled on. It was the same one with Caster Gilgamesh. It was a Babylonia banner somewhere between around Gura 4. So one of the first banners I ever rolled on. And she showed up quite quickly. Gray, I missed Gray. She'll get the rerun early next year, so I'll get her then. I've never tried to roll for Summer Helena. Regular Helena, neutral. She showed up every once in a while, but not very often. Hercules' story is kind of the opposite of Emia, in that I got my first Hercules, same person. I got him very quickly, but it took a long time for me to get more MP levels for him. So he goes to neutral. Hijikata, neutral. Hokusai, she does not like me very much, sadly. Which is a shame, because I actually rather like Hokusai. So hopefully someday, when there's not, other pressing characters to go for. Sherlock, I have not tried to get Sherlock. Summer Baraki. Neutral. No, I'm gonna do up here because I did rolls and she showed up fairly easily. Regular Ibaraki though is getting neutral. Elia, definitely up here because I threw a few rolls at her. She was a banner last year and I picked her up very quickly. And then during the whole back to school campaign, which, had 20 limited SSRs on it, she was the one that I got, so MP2. Okay, Irisville is never, it was before I started playing, same goes for Ishtar. Never really tried to get Ishtar because I had Gilgamesh. Iskander, same deal, but for a different character. Ivan, I've never tried to get Ivan. Izo does not like me. I wanted to get him at MP5, but it took a bit, and he doesn't like me very much, and I don't like him very much for the same reason. But a character who definitely is at the top of this list is Jean Alter. Very top, because this was the downloads campaign I mentioned earlier, the one with the SSR ticket. It had a Jalter banner, it had a regular Musashi banner, and so forth. And Jalter showed up as the first card of the first multi that I rolled. And she's in fact MP6 now. She's the SSR I have that's shown up the most, and it didn't take very much to get that result, so she is one of the top tiers up here for characters who seem to have a very high opinion of me based on how often they show up in the gacha. Summer Jean, definitely up here, because she's MP4. I got 2 of her during the Summer 3 rerun in 2021, then she showed up in the 5th Annie GSSR, and then showed up again during what was it? It was like a random throwaway roll on a summer banner. I think it was the one after Summer 5, around the time when Fujino showed up. It was a banner that had Dantes and Summer Jean, and Summer Jean became MP4. Regular Jean, though, does not like me very much, because I'm almost tempted to put her down here, because she showed up. It took her a bit to show up when I tried to roll for her during a Valentine's event, and her counterpart on that banner, the other SSR, it was a split rate up. I don't know why I did these rolls, but I did. The other SSR showed up quite a bit, but she didn't, not for a while. Kama, regular Kama, neutral, because I tried to get her. It's kind of a similar story with Ereshkigal. I did some rolls, I got her, and it wasn't too difficult. Karna, he's MP1. He spooked me once, which was kind of cool, but I haven't had a need for an AoE Lancer. So he's never really stood out. Part of that is his kit. You know, that 25% charge really does him no favors. I know that gets buffed on JP, so I'm hoping, you know, once we get those buffs on NA, that I'll get more use out of him. Cara absolutely hates my guts, and which is a damn shame because I've wanted an AoE alter ego for a while now, but she is not the one that wants to be that alter ego. It's a shame. First Assan, King Hassan, definitely likes me. That very early banner I mentioned, like one of the first ones I ever had, it had Caster Gil, Gorgon, and First Assan, and I got 2 First Assans off of that. I don't know why I always forget him, but I do. King Protea, yeah, she doesn't. No, I'm gonna put her here. She dislikes me. I've tried to roll for her a few times, but not as much as Kiara. Kintoki. Have I actually tried to roll for Kintoki? I know I want Kintoki, or at least I wanted him before I got Jalter. I'm gonna put him on unknown, because I don't know. I've not gone for Summer Kyohime. I've not gone for Lancer Artoria Alter. Lancelot definitely is up here. He would have been a central core of my single target Sabers if it wasn't for what's her name, Saber Hokusai, being one of my first welfare characters. Prince of Lanling definitely likes me. He was one of the early ones, which is a little odd because I haven't used him very much. But Lancer Artoria, I never tried to roll for Lancer Artoria. I used the ticket on her during 6th anniversary, so that doesn't really count, does it? Passion Lip, neutral. She showed up during the Kiara rolls. Oh, I don't want to remember that one. Li Shuen, neutral. Because I know he showed up at one point. Don't remember when. I really don't. He's MP1 though. Elizabeth, definitely a fan. I'm not the biggest fan personally, but you know, she's alright. I actually finished the story for this year's Halloween event with the Cinderella Elizabeth plus the trilogy of the past releases. I like Elizabeth more now. She's alright. Hessian Lobo, absolutely up here, almost to the point of being here. In fact, yes, I'm gonna put them up here. Hessian, maybe it's because I'm a dog lover, so Hessian Lobo senses that from across the ether from the Throne of Heroes and decides to show up quite often. It's alright. I don't mind that, but well, it's rare prisms. I like rare prisms. Summer Martha definitely likes me. I threw a no, I'm gonna move her up actually, because she showed up on a split summer banner that I threw a tenor at, one tenor at, and picked her up, which was kind of a big deal. And related to that, since I see them right here, same goes for Summer Mordred, because I threw 2 different summer banners like a year or so apart, and they showed up right away, and it was like, awesome. Regular Martha, I'm going to say neutral for her. She shows up, but nothing too outstanding. Medea Lily doesn't like me very much. I did get her, but, you know, that took some doing. I mean, I didn't roll that seriously, but no, wait, when was this? This was the Heian Kyo banners, so yeah, actually, no, I'm gonna put her in neutral, because I threw like 3 multis at the Heian Kyo banners for Ibuki. I didn't go hard on that because I was gunning for Muramasa a month later, so, but Medea Lily did show up, so yeah, she gets neutral. As for Medusa, Anna, definitely up here, because she was one of the earliest ones for me to max out. Melt. Same deal as Kiara. I wanted Melt, she does not want me, which is a damn shame. Merlin, the cock wizard. He doesn't like me very much. Oh, he did show up, but it took a bit, and I will never forgive him for that. Because, that was not fun. MHX Alter, I'm gonna go with yes, because she showed up fairly. It didn't take too much. MHX, though, I don't think I've gone for MHX. I've been thinking about it more, though, to complete my Saber face collection. You know, when you have you have your support list, you have 6 support lists, 3 normal support lists, and then the 3 event support lists, and then that means you've got 4 extra support lists. I don't know if you do anything with those 4 support lists, but I have one that's the Saber face collection, and the Assassin slot is missing. I've got another that's the Avalon LaFay collection, and another that's the Fate Stay Night collection. It goes on. Anyway, I've been thinking about her a bit lately as to complete my Saber face support list. So maybe someday, but I haven't tried yet. MHXX, yes, definitely likes me. When did she show up a bunch? She showed up early on during the Summer 3 rerun, the same one where I got Summer Jean. But I think it might have been Imaginary Scramble. Was she on the Imaginary Scramble banners? I'd have to check. I'll check it later. But she's MP4 now, so she's definitely up there. I believe it was Imaginary Scramble. Mew, yes. Mew, during the banner that had Ilia and MHXA. This was about a year or so ago. Did get both of them and got a lot of Mews. Chiome, straight up there, because Chiome has shown up so many times it's a little ridiculous. Mordred's MP2. And I'm gonna go with likes me for that very reason, much the same as Achilles and Arjuna. I've never specifically tried to get Mordred, but she's shown up all the same. Moriarty, I have not tried to get Moriarty. Murasaki Shikibu, I don't believe I've tried to get Murasaki. Musashi, definitely likes me. I got her at MP2 during the Jalter, that download campaign that had the SR ticket and had Jalter, who was the big prize, but also MP2 Musashi. Napoleon is MP3, but he goes up here because he has the honor of being the first SSR I've ever gotten. So he was the first, and so he gets special recognition for that, and the fact that I've never tried to roll for him, and yet Gacha's made him MP3. So I'd say he's definitely in the high affection category. Nero Bride hates my guts, and that is a damn shame. I won't be forgetting that one for a long time. Regular Nero caster I've not tried to go for. Regular Nero, I'd say likes, because she's a story lock, doesn't show up very much, but she did show up for me. I don't remember when. It was very early on. I want to say it was a banner during 4th anniversary. Nezha, definitely up here. She was one of the earliest characters that I picked up. I didn't know who she was initially. That's probably something that a lot of people experience, even people that are quite familiar with a lot of history and legends and so forth, is, you recognize some names, like, oh, this is Gilgamesh, or oh, this is Cleopatra, or, so on. I didn't know who Nezha was for a while. It was like, oh, who is this person? Anyway, Nightingale doesn't like me, for the simple reason that she's general pool and has never shown up. You'd think she might have shown up by now, but like Anastasia, no go. The difference is I actually want Anastasia. Nightingale, not so much. Summer Nita Chris, no. Regular Nita Chris, though, likes me, because she was one of the first SRs I ever got. I believe it was during 4th anniversary that she showed up as a spook, and it was like, oh, okay, this is a kind of neat person, and then I started using her. It's like, oh, okay, this is my main AoE caster. Summer Nobu. similar story, though it was Gura 4 that Summer Nobu showed up in. Regular Nobu's there. Nursery Rhyme. That's a yes for Nursery Rhyme, because they show up every once in a while. Perhaps not as often as, certainly not as much as Lobo, but they show up every once in a while. Okita Alter does not like me. I've threw like a handful of rolls at Okita Alter, but she's never shown up. As for regular Okita, I'm going to put neutral, because this was the rolls, this was before the release of Gura 5. And they had a banner with Okita and Izo, and I wanted to max out Izo because limited 3 stars. Like, okay, this is going to be easy. Izo was not easy. Regular Okita did show up, though, so it was like, oh, neat. Old Man Lee, not tried to go for him. I've not had a need for a single target assassin pretty much since the early days, because I got first Assan, I got Jack, and that kind of settled it. Orion, I'm gonna put neutral. They were one of the first SSR spooks I ever got, but they've not shown up since. So they're gonna go in neutral just for not showing up. I think they realized that, I don't use them very much, so they don't want to come back. Much the same story with Osakabe Hime. She showed up during New Year's 2022, but hasn't shown up since. Actually, she showed up. New Year's 2022 was very spook heavy. It had my first Mordred, had Karna, had Osakabe Hime. Ozymandias does not like me, because Genpool never showed up, which is a shame, because that would have been nice. Parvati, absolutely up here. Almost want to put her in the top tier for how often she's shown up. She, like Dantes, were the core of my first real looping teams with Scotty. So if it was Dante, if I used Parvati, and if she didn't have a good arrangement for it, I'd use Dantes instead. Bunyan here. Ventusalea. I'm gonna go neutral for her. She shows up sometimes, but nothing crazy. I'm not going to say that name right, so I'm not even going to try. Sorry. Yeah, she shows up more than I would like, but I guess that's, it's a one-way connection. She seems to like me. I don't like her very much. If she was a better gameplay character, then perhaps that would be different, but sadly, she's not. Quetzalcoatl, on the other hand, has been very useful and very, very effective for single target riding situations. If I need a single target rider, Quetz is my go-to. Summer Raiko, right. I was going to say Minamoto. Summer Raiko, not tried for. Regular Raiko, I don't think I've tried for her either. Rama is definitely up here. He showed up similar to when Nessa showed up, and he's been a regular returning rare prism farm ever since. Ryoma was before I could get him. Saber Diarmund, he definitely likes me. He shows up every once in a while. Saber Frankenstein, unknown. Saber Mave, though, definitely hates my guts, because she was the one character from the Summer 3 rerun that, her and Summer BB, but she would have been easier to get, so she's in the hate category. She definitely doesn't like me. Salieri, I'm gonna give him neutral. He's shown up. I got him to MP5. Wait, is he story locked? Or is he not story locked? Oh, why am I forgetting this? I think he's story locked, so I'm just gonna put him here. If he's not story locked, then I made a mistake. Sorry. Summer. No, I don't think I rolled for Summer Saber Alter. Regular Saber Alter, though, goes right up here, because I threw. I had a phase where I really wanted Saber Alter because I'd seen the Heavensfield movies and was like, oh, that'd be kind of nice to have. I threw one multi at the story banner and she showed up. I was like, wow, okay, that was quite nice. But she's still MP1, has been MP1 ever since. I've hoped that she would get another banner someday, but every banner that she's shown up in ever since has been a split rate up. So I'm like, I'm not doing this. I have bigger fish to fry, especially when the original Saber is higher MP levels already. So getting her at this point is just for novelty, and for novelty characters, MP1 is good enough at this point. Ska Hawk. Ska Hawk this is a tough one. Yeah, I'm going to put her here actually, because Ska Hawk was my first GSSR character, which was amazing when I first picked her up. It was a bit of a shame for Kagetora, though. Kagetora was my first welfare character, and it was like, awesome, I have this really, really amazing Lancer from Goda Goda 4, and then 2 weeks later, it's the GSSR, and I get Ska Hawk, and it's like, well, they worked together a fair bit, but she kind of took over, and then Enkidu started spamming me like crazy, and Ska Hawk isn't quite as... Enkidu got my Lancer Grails. It would have been Ska Hawk if Enkidu hadn't shown up as much as they have. And I did get MP2 Ska Hawk later on, so she's definitely up there. Scheherazade doesn't like me. Gen Poool, never shown up. Semiramas, neutral. Because on the one hand, I tried to roll for them during the Apocrypha rerun, and she didn't show up at all, and it was very, very depressing. But then New Year's, this year, 2023, I got Muramasa fairly easily and had a bunch extra, and I had the absolute craziest spree of SSR show up. It was like, it was about 300 quartz, and I got 7 SSRs in that, and 2 of them were Semiramas. I believe another one was Achilles. He's up here somewhere. So yeah, he's right there. So Semiramis is kind of neutral. So first go around didn't show at all. Second go around showed up quite easily, so it balances out that way. Sorry, First Emperor of China. I'm gonna screw that up. He did show up eventually, but he doesn't like me. I wasn't rolling for him. This was one of my dumbest impulse rolls going for him. Queen of Sheba likes me, showed up fairly quickly. Which banner was she on? She was around the time of Amazones or the Presidents. It was 2022, and she showed up fairly easily, along with I don't remember what banner it was, but she showed up then. Saber Shiki does not like me. Similar story to Kun Shi Huang. I was rolling for her, but I got Mordred instead. She showed up eventually, though. Shuten Doji. I don't think I've tried to roll for Shuten. I might have, but she's not, she's an arts assassin AoE, and I've wanted an AoE assassin for a long time until I finally got Semiramis. But Semiramis and Kichi Hogan. But Shuten, she's arts, but she can't really loop that well. So I never really went for her. Siegfried. Which one? You're going here. This is what became infamous during the Merlin rolls, because it took ages to get Merlin, but Sumanai, he showed up a lot. I know that's kind of a stereotype with him, that he's the SR everybody gets when they want somebody else. Well, in my case, it's true. Sigurd, not gone for Sigurd. Reyna's doesn't like me, because I rolled on the GSSR for this year's GSSR for 6th anniversary. There were only 4 options. It was Reyna's, Arjuna Alter, Murasaki. Actually, yeah, I put Murasaki in unknown. I'm going to move her back up to dislikes me. Murasaki, because she didn't show up either, and Kama, which and it was Kama who showed up as the one. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna put her at likes me actually. How did I forget about that? Made Kama MP3. So of the 4 characters on that GSSR, they of course gave me the one character I already had. And since I mentioned Arjuna Alter, he doesn't like me either. Sumanai definitely likes me, because this was during the Oniland rolls, and I picked up regular Baraki, Summer Baraki, and Sumanai. 2 Sumanais, actually. And she is my go-to alter ego whenever I need somebody to beat on some foreigners. Oh, that sounded bad. Oh, okay. I hope nobody takes that out of context. Well, I'm not big enough for anybody to care if they try to take that out of context. Scotty. Definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna put her up here because I've only ever tried to get Scotty once, and I got her in 2 tickets. She was my first. She was actually my first SSR support at all because it took ages for me to get waiver, and then by the time I got waiver, Castoria was like 2 months away, and I was like, okay, I don't care anymore. But yeah, Scotty was central to a lot of my early farming, and it was actually around the same time. No, Dante showed up in the summer of 2021, and then there was I believe it was a Thanksgiving banner for Scotty, and that's when Scotty showed up. I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw some tickets at this because I heard Scotty's good. I've heard about this loop thing. I'm still new to the game at this point, and she shows up in 2 tickets. So I was like, wow. I didn't see luck like that again until Jalter and one other character we haven't gotten to yet. Summer Artoria up here because she showed up in the 6th anniversary GSSR I talked about, which gave me MP3 Kama. That one kind of sucked, but the New Year's 2023, I went for the archers. I wanted a single target archer more than anything else, and I got Summer Artoria, which was amazing for about a week, because a week later I pulled Super Orion. We'll get to him later, because that's another story entirely. Steno. She shows up. I haven't actually seen her in a while, but she shows up fairly often. Suzuka. I'm gonna go neutral for Suzuka. She shows up every once in a while, but not a crazy amount. Taiga, or Jaguar Warrior, definitely likes me. Similar to the Caster Gill, Gorgon. Like, it was a Babylonia banner. First Assan. Taiga got MP5 fairly early on. Summer Tamamo, not rolled for her. Katt Tamamo, it gets up here because they were my starter SR. The initial roll that everybody gets, you get 1 guaranteed SR when you start playing the game. Mine was Tamamo Katt. She remained MP1 for the longest time, but she was the original, so she gets up here, much like Napoleon. Regular Tamamo gets in the light category, because I got her around New Year's 2022, and then she spooked me. I believe she spooked me when I was trying to get Nero Bride during the Akihabara explosion event. So MP2 Tamamo, MP0 Nero Bride, thank you very much. Tomo, definitely up here. She was one of my earlier MP5 SRs and was my go-to SR archer until I got Fujino. And actually, she still sees some use every once in a while. Well, no, she's kind of out of a job ever since Summer Artoria and Super Orion showed up, but I believe she's Bond 9. She's one of the highest that I have, for sure. Braumante, Gen Poool Spook, and that one was fairly, I want to say it was around just around a year ago when Braumante showed up. Zaitan, I know somebody's gonna kill me for some of these pronunciations. For the videos, particularly the ones with like the Charlotte and like all these French characters I've been doing, I've had to do a lot of practice trying to get those pronunciations right. And I've probably failed anyway. I mean, well, nobody seems to have complained yet. Anyway, Wu Zhaitan likes me. She was one of my first SRs to show up. Chloe has never shown up, or has, Tristan definitely likes me. He's MP5, and he's a story-locked MP5, no less. He showed up. I got his last copies during the Oberon banner, because so it was Oberon, Gawain, and Tristan. Summer Ushiwaka, MP2 for her during the Summer 3 rerun, and then during the 6 Annie GSSR, when I got Kama MP3, I also got MP3 Summer Ushi, so she's definitely up here. Vlad Extra hates my guts. He was the last of the Gen Pool SRs for me to get, and that was after a lot of rolling, and he's still MP1. So he's shown up. These other characters here have not shown up ever, but he definitely doesn't like me very much. Waver, I'm put him in neutral because I did actually try to get him. I did get him, but it took a bit of doing. And by the time he did show up, I mentioned this earlier, Castoria wasn't far away, so he hasn't seen much use. Jang Yu is straight at the top, because I think he mistakes me for Consort Yu, or Yumeran, that person. I have him at MP4. I've never tried to roll for him. He's like Enkidu, except I actually like Enkidu. Sanzong, she showed up. She spooked me quite early on. Single target caster. It was her and Cersei that were my single target casters for. Honestly, they still are, because during Grand Nero Fest, I used a lot of Sanzong and a lot of Cersei for both of those. In fact, I believe Cersei is Bond 10, and Sanzong is like Bond 7 now, because of the Grand Nero Fest farm that happened. And Gilgamesh got Bond 10 during that as well. Moon and Nori, he's up here. Similar story to... Now, he's story-locked, but he showed up during 4th Anniversary when I rolled for Da Vinci Rider, and he would not stop showing up. So, he's up here. Assassin of Shinjuku, because Yanqing, I forget his name. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with Chinese names. I'm gonna go neutral for him, because he's Gen Pool. It took a while for him to show up, but he does show up. Consort Yu does not like me in the slightest. And I don't like them for that, which is a shame. I did get her, but it took too long, and it was one of the dumbest impulse decisions I've ever made, so... moving the other Valks here, because the first Valk is already up here. Berserker Lancelot. I'm gonna go neutral for him. He's shown up a decent amount. Jinako Ganesha. Neutral. She's spooked me once and has never been seen again. Which was cool. She was one of the earlier ones, but hasn't been seen since. And to be fair, she hasn't been used very much since, because Moon Cancer's an AoE Moon Cancer, no less. You'd need to deal with group Avengers, and you don't see that very often. And there's somebody else, who I'm just going to bring him out now, who deals with that for me, and that person is Summer Cara. I only threw a handful of rolls at the Summer 5 banners, and she showed up quite easily. So she gets up there. Lakshmi Bai, I'm going to go with neutral for Lakshmi Bai. Asavataman likes me for sure. He's story-locked, but he was on I want to say it was the Santa Nightingale event. He was on a banner, and I pulled 2 of him. So him showing up there was definitely quite neat. He's not seen a ton of use, but I do I do like him. He's pretty fun. Asclepius, was he story locked? I believe he's story locked, so he gets to go up here. And he shows up quite easily as well. Maonobu. You go straight up here, because you were the first double SSR I ever got, and it was like during my first 2 weeks of playing the game. I remember this quite vividly because, so I started playing, the first event was Gura 4, which was when Maonobu first appeared, Demon King Nobunaga, and it was the night before that banner was about to expire. The 4th anniversary was about to start, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to throw a roll on this just for the heck of it. You know, for this banner, it's about to go away. Maybe I'll get somebody, maybe I won't. I got 2 Maonobus from that, and that was the first time I ever got 2 SSRs in one roll, and it was my first, like, 2-3 weeks of playing the game, so they go straight up here. No, you know what? I'm going to put them up here, because that was a standout. Mori Nagayoshi, I'm going to go with neutral for him, because he showed up. It was a similar story for him and Izo on that banner, but Nagayoshi actually showed up a fair amount early, but Izo did not. Kagetora, I want to put them on the list, but they don't apply because they're welfare. These are the other Nobus. Gareth is great. Jason, Paris, Da Vinci, Lily goes straight up here. Because they were, I did a lot of rolls during 4th anniversary. That was my first, like, real, like, big rolling. And Da Vinci Lily, I got her at MP4. And she was my first, like, serious, like, this is an SSR that other people will value because I have them at a high level. She was also the first SSR that I maxed out the gold foes. So she's 2,000 in her stats. So if you happen to have my support list, keep that in mind. My Da Vinci rider is very, very good. So, got a lot of the Gen Poool characters. This is the Mecha Elizabeth is up here. I guess they have 2 of those. And I wonder who made this tier list, because I'm seeing a lot of doubles of characters. Summer Musashi is up here. Very similar story to Da Vinci Rider, because when I started playing, I got into the novelty factor, and then I decided to do some searches, like, okay, what kind of character should I go for? And all the talk in those days was about Castoria. Koi and Sky hadn't shown up yet. When I started playing, Lost Belt 6 was only just coming out, so nobody knew about Koi and Sky yet. So, my thinking was, okay, if Castoria is the big deal, I should get some characters that are really, really good art sloopers. First was Da Vinci Rider, second was Summer Musashi, and Summer Musashi is my second character that I have max gold foed. Third is going to be Melusine, who we'll get to later. Summer Sakabe Hime, I'm going to go with neutral for her. She showed up, but nothing crazy. Summer Carmilla, same story for her. Rokusai. Summer Melt, though, is going straight up here, because she showed up like crazy. And I threw a few rolls at her during the Summer 4 rerun, and she's MP5. And she is absolutely amazing. Even in this present day, when it's all the Buster system and Koyanskaya and Melusine and all of that, if party costs are an issue or anything of that nature, or if I just don't feel like, having Melusine destroy everything, I bring out Summer Melt for my Lancer needs. Summer Okita, neutral. Summer Lancer, the Bunny Artoria, neutral. Space Ishtar, I'd say she likes me. I have her at, the first Saber Wars 2, because, when I did the research on, like, okay, who are the characters I want the most for a future cast story, it was Da Vinci Lily, Summer Musashi, and Space Ishtar, but especially Space Ishtar. I got her at MP2, And then during that crazy New Year's 2023, I mentioned I got 7 SSRs and like 300 quartz. She was one of them, because that was the Saber Wars 2 rerun. So my Space Ishtar is MP3. And she's grailed. Yeah, she's... Calamity Jane is definitely up there, because, you know, I did get Space Ishtar. I got a lot of Calamity Jane. A lot of Calamity Jane. Saber Astolfo. I've never tried to roll for Saber Astolfo. Europa gets... yeah, she likes me. She's a... No. I'm gonna put her at neutral, because she showed up once as a spook, but that was a long time ago. Super Orion. This one is this one's complicated, because I rolled a lot for Super Orion, and he didn't show up when Atlantis came out. Like, I dropped more than I should have on trying to get Super Orion. He did not show up. I got a lot of Mandracardo. I got Penthesilea. I did not get Super Orion. And then during that aforementioned 7 SSRs and 300 quartz, he showed up, finally, which was really cool. But that took a lot, so, you know, it's the balancing. It's much the same story as with Semiramas, but more dramatic. No, you know what? He doesn't like me. It's a toss-up between these two, whether, because he did show up. Yeah, I'm gonna say he doesn't like me, because he did show up, but it took more than I would have wanted. So I'm glad that he showed up. He has made any boss fight with a Saber absolutely easy ever since he showed up, but like, trying to get him was one of my worst gacha experiences in this entire game. So, on the other hand, one of my best was Yang Guifei. Is that a Chinese name I'm actually getting right, or not? I'm sure somebody will let me know. Yang Guifei has a similar story to Maonobu, in the sense of the banner was about to expire. I threw a tenner, just like, oh, why not? Let's see how it goes. And I get Yang Guifei. It's like, oh, cool. And then when Imaginary Scramble came out, I threw another at her just for the heck of it, because, you know, single target foreigner, she's the one that I have. Maybe I get her to MP2. Got her at MP2 very quickly, and that was awesome. So she's definitely up here as being a character that showed up at MP2 and took very little for me to make that happen. So, Sei Shonagon. She's up here, because I mentioned this before with Jean. Where is Jean? She's down here on the dislikes tier. That during the Valentine's event, I wanted to get Jean for some reason. I like the character, I guess, but she doesn't like me very much. Her alter version does. But Sei Shonagon likes me for sure. She's MP3. And honestly, I really like Sei Shonagon as well. I find her antics hilarious. Maybe I'm weird for that, but, well, I'm sure someone will let me know. Odysseus. You know, in my first imagining of this tier list, the top tier was not going to be thinks I'm their spouse. It was going to be thinks I'm Penelope. Because he was, like Jalter, the first appearance, or the first card of the first multi that I ever rolled a banner that he featured on. So Odysseus is at the very top. So it's like, when it comes to supreme luck of getting characters, my top 3 are Ska Hawk, Scotty, Jean Alter, and Odysseus, as the 3 that, you know, like, these are the luck stories that immediately come to mind when it comes to, you know, who have I gotten the luckiest with getting. And the thing is, I didn't even want Odysseus, because I already had Da Vinci Rider, but he showed up. He just kept showing up, and he's MP5. I try to make use of him, because Da Vinci Rider's bond level 10. I used a bond growl on her, but I just try to use Odysseus now because I want him to get bond levels, so I don't have to use more bond grails on Da Vinci Lily. Canis. I'm gonna go with, yeah, they like me. I got them at MP2. And they're story locked. Are they story locked? I think they're story locked. Dioscuri. They don't like me. And if they don't like me, the feeling is mutual, because, well, maybe this is just my opinion, but I did not like them in Atlantis or Olympus, because Castor's kind of a prick. And, some of the stuff that it was saying to Canis during Atlantis, that really rubbed me the wrong way. So he's been on my bad list ever since. I think they are trying to make up for that, because I remember he was in Little Big Tengu, and that was kind of fun. But that Atlantis was, Romulus, big Romulus. Never tried to go for him, because at that point I knew about Melusine. It was like, I'm not going for another AoE Lancer until Melusine shows up, and by then I had Ereshkigal, so Kijo Koyo. Is that how you say it? Kijo, whatever. They like me, because I got her at MP2 fairly easily. Which is in itself a story, because the reason I have her at MP2 is because I was doing more rolls for Voyager, who is up here, because I threw a, what the hell roll at the banner with Voyager and Kijo during the Fate Requiem collab, and he was a double. He showed up twice in the same multi. And then I did another roll, got another of him, so he's MP3. He's my top AoE forerunner, and Kijo Koyo also showed up, so that was cool. Castoria. Castoria is MP4, and she was also a double. She's going straight to the top, because this was before we got pity on NA, and I was absolutely dreading. You may have noticed I did a lot of rolls in 2022, like way more than I should have, and it's kind of ridiculous. I'm not going to do anything like that ever again. But Castoria, I was dreading, like, oh, how hard is this going to be? And then she showed up very quickly, and I was like, awesome. I threw another on the banner just for kicks, and it was a double. I make a gag about this in the John video, that she showed up very, very easily, and that was amazing when that happened. Summer Ilya. Yeah, she showed up fairly. No, I'm gonna go with neutral for her. No, actually, she likes me, because I only threw a handful of rolls at the Summer 5 banners, and all of the characters showed up for me. All of them did. So Summer Brynhild, I already put Summer Kiara here. Summer Abby showed up, Summer Tomoe showed up, and Summer Murasaki showed up. All of them did, in 200 courts, maybe? Something of that effect. It was very, very few courts, but to get all of them together. So that was rather amazing when that happened. Of all of them, ones that gotten the most use would be Summer Kiara and Summer Murasaki. I didn't think much about any of these characters. They were throwaway roles. But Summer Murasaki proved very valuable as a single target rider. She's still very valuable. I actually just used her for one of the Halloween nodes. It was a caster node, and my setup has one SSR and one SR, and I threw, I believe it was the 90 plus. It was a 90 or 90 plus, and I had Nemo. This was, never mind, I'm sorry. This was the final boss for the Halloween event against the final boss there, who was a caster boss. And I used Nemo and Summer Murasaki. Himiko. You are going to the dislike category, because you have a very similar story to Super Orion, in the sense, Super Orion, I didn't get Super Orion until a year after my first roll for them. I went very hard for Himiko because I'm going to admit it, I'm a fan of the VA for Himiko, always have been. They voice a lot of anime characters I really like. Rika from Higurashi, Soza from Steins Gate, etc., etc. So it's like, okay, that's their one FGO character that they voice. I want to get Himiko. And also because I didn't have Super Orion, so it's like, I want to have one good single target, crits for 100k character. it took way more than I wanted. It felt like the payback for Castoria showing up so easily. Castoria was really nice to me, Himiko was not. And it's a damn shame because Himiko turned out to not be as useful as I'd hoped. Which, oh well. On the other hand, Saito, who was also in those banners, he showed up a lot. He showed up quite a bit. And I don't use him that much. I have a lot of strong single target sabers, but I should use him more actually. He's cool. And then the other side of the Himiko story is that as I mentioned, I was a fan of the VA for Himiko, and that made me tunnel vision on Himiko as like this great, amazing single target character, and I completely overlooked Van Gogh. And then Imaginary Scramble happened, and I was like, wow, Van Gogh is awesome. Like, the characters, like, I really liked Van Gogh and Imaginary Scramble. I liked Yang Guifei as well, but I already had Yang Guifei. Thankfully, Van Gogh showed up quite easily. I have Van Gogh at MP2. I still need to get all their skills maxed out. That's a material problem. An ongoing material problem. I'm in material hell and now QP hell. For upgrading characters. It gave me a grail for finishing the Halloween event tonight, and I want to use it on Melusine. I will burn out all of my QP if I do that. Anyway, QP problems. Nemo likes me. I threw a random at Imaginary Scramble banners, and he showed up very easily. Still MP1, but as I said, I still make use of him. He's a good single target rider, and I used him to beat up the Halloween boss tonight. So Ashiadomon, I didn't roll for Ashiadomon. I was too focused on Muramasa when he showed up, and when he showed up again during Summer 6, I was too interested in Summer Kama. Watanabe, he does like me because he showed up. I did throw like 2 or 3 tenors at Ibuki, and he showed up, but Ibuki did not. So Ibuki doesn't like me, but Watanabe does. Vitra, I have not rolled for Vitra, but she's Gen Poool. She hasn't spooked me. She doesn't like me. Muramasa definitely likes me. I got him at MP2, not super easily, but easily enough. So he's definitely up there, and ever since any AoE wave with Lancers, any node that has AoE Lancers, has never stood a chance whatsoever. Okay, they didn't stand a chance anyway, because I have the OG Saber, but now they definitely don't stand a chance. This was before Vitch, Koyanskaya, so OG Saber didn't get used a ton, but Muramasa did, because had Castoria. Anyway, Taira no Kagekyo, top of the list, or no, not top of the list, but just below it, because I threw a one at Big Little Tengu, because it was like, oh, I have all the Avengers in the game, except now they have a new one that just came out, but I just bled myself out rolling for Muramasa, and I have to save like crazy for the Lost Belt 6 characters. I'll throw a tenor at the Tyra banner. Oh, Tyra shows up, so she's up here. Kichi Hogan, Karen Hortensia, hates my guts. I don't like her for that reason, because I threw impulse rolls at Karen, because I liked seeing her in the Valentine's event. I told myself at the time, don't do this. You need these quartz for Lost Belt 6, but I did it anyway. And I did get one of her, but that was a lot of quartz that I threw in that I really, really wish I hadn't, because that stressed me out a lot in the intervening time, because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get through the Lost Belt 6 roll list. Anyway, Galatea, she's Gen Poool and hasn't shown up, but she hasn't been around long enough for me to, like, she probably doesn't like me, but I haven't done enough rolls to, like, believe that that's actually a thing. I'll give her more of a chance before it gets to that point. Miss Crane, I did not roll for Miss Crane. I thought about it, but at that point, after the Karen disaster, it's like, okay, I need discipline, I need focus, And, because here come the Lost Belt 6 characters. And we start with Morgan Le Fay. At first, Morgan didn't show up, and that was really distressing. I'm gonna do Bavansi first. She is up here, because she would not stop showing up. She's MP5. And it was like, okay, cool, I'm getting Bavanshi a lot, but I want Morgan, and I want Barkest as well. Barkest did show up, so they go here, MP2. But then I did a roll and got Barkest and Morgan in the same roll, did another roll, and got MP2 Morgan. This is jumping ahead in the story a bit, but later on, after the Koyanskaya and Oberon rolls, I had quartz left over, and Morgan showed up 2 more times, MP4, and then I threw a what the hell roll of the use 1 paid SQ in a day things, and it gave me MP5 Morgan. She is up here, because that was a surprisingly easy MP5, probably actually the easiest MP5 SSR that I've ever had was Morgan, and I am really happy about that because I wanted to MP5 Morgan someday, and that someday has already happened. I thought it would be after, like, you had the first Morgan banner, then the second Morgan banner, and I thought, okay, I'll just get MP2 for this, because I gotta save for Melusine and Koyanskaya and Oberon and all of that, and then next year she'll show up with the Sea Monster Crisis, and then she shows up again for the Fairy Knight Cup, the Tamlin Cup, I guess that's what they'll call it for us. So there's 4 Morgan banners. Hopefully I'll get her MP5 eventually. Nope, she's already MP5, and I absolutely like that. Melusine likes me. Yeah, she likes me. She's who I wanted to get. Like, I carved out, I saved up 900 quartz for her specifically, so that I'd hit pity, so that no matter what, I'd get MP1 Melusine. I got MP2 Melusine in like 800. No, it was like 750, 800. So acquired, hoping to get more someday, but that day is not yet. Her next banner is in December. That's where my quartz is being saved up, is for that. Hoping to get more of that. The luck I got with Morgan is the luck I wanted with Melusine. I also wanted that luck for Morgan, but, maybe I'm greedy. I want good luck for everybody. Anyway, enough of that. Percival, he's up here, actually. He's MP4, because he was on the Melusine banner. He showed up a fair bit. He wasn't what I was going for, obviously. I mean, he's great. He's an excellent character, but he's kind of outclassed at this point. He had the misfortune of coming out the same banner as Melusine. Koyanskaya. I was dreading this one. I was really dreading this one. And she showed up in 150 quartz. And that was amazing, because it was dependent on whether I'd have... So, if I'd have enough quartz to pity for Koyanskaya and Oberon, the absolute worst case scenario, and I didn't have enough for both. And Koyanskaya showing up in 150 guaranteed that I'd have enough for Oberon, no matter what. And that was a huge, huge relief when that happened. And then Oberon's banner showed up, and he also showed up in 150 quartz. And that was also amazing, which gave me 900 quartz remaining to throw at Morgan. And then I already talked about how Morgan showed up quite easily after that. So these two are solidly up here. From this point, though, almost done. So I didn't roll for Okita Saber or Saber Okita Alter, Summer Okita Alter. You know who I'm talking about. I threw 2 or 3 rolls at that banner, and I got Summer Anastasia. So she showed up. That was cool. I actually had wanted Summer Charlotte for that banner, but she didn't show up. So she doesn't like me very much, which is a shame, because she was the first video I did the servant comparison on. Part of that was by choice of, I thought it wouldn't be, her backstory isn't overly long. This was when I was doing the older formats where I was delving into all the history of the character. So it was like, okay, the Charlotte, it's not Caesar or Nobunaga. It's not going to take me, hours and hours just to get through all their history. I'm glad I don't do that format anymore. Anyway, Charlotte, she doesn't like me very much, which is a shame. Hoping next year when they do the rerun banners that I'll go for her, assuming that Arkui doesn't kick my ass, and Lady Avalon, and Ska Hawk, Summer, Scotty. Summer, does not like me, but no, she hates me actually. She hates me. I didn't do a ton, but you would think that with her normal version being so nice to me that her summer one might be, but no, she doesn't. Oh well. Summer Canis also doesn't like me. Same story as for Charlotte. Summer Say, though, clearly remembered being my friend during her Valentine's event, and she did show up. So I got those two, didn't get the others for Summer 6. And that brings us to the banner that's still going right now. I could roll on it right now and find out how I do, but I'm not going to. So, unknown for Jacques de Molay and unknown for Zenobia, because I have not tried to get you yet. And that brings us to the present day, and all of these characters in the future. Just as a, preview of where I'm going with some of these, I'm not rolling for any of these characters here. None of these. The next one I actually am interested in is Kriemhild, because she's story locked, and I have a tendency to roll for story locked characters just because they're harder to get than others. So Kriemhild is the next. So there's the Melusine banner in December, and then after that it's a straight blank until Traum and Kriemhild shows up, and then it's Arcoid. I mentioned going for Lady Avalon and Summer Scotty, but I'm actually not sure if I will, because the main reason I'd go for them is not because I want them, but because of support lists. I want more friend points, and that's not a very good reason. Much is going to depend on how Arcoid is and how badly she kicks my ass. So we'll see how that goes. Then it's a straight run until we get to Lost Belt 7, and this is going to be a nightmare, like Lost Belt 6 was, because I am a definite fan of Kirei, and I want Rasputin, Tezcatlipoca, I want him, Kukulkan, and then Tlaloc, she's a 4-star gen pull, she'll show up eventually. And then it's Tiamat, and maybe Durga, and then it's the summer Avalon LaFay, and I'm going to be all over that. Anyway, so this is my tier list of characters' opinion of me based on how they've shown up in my gacha rolls. So as a whole, when it comes to gacha luck, I've actually done really, really well in this game, all things considered, and it's reflected by there being more weight in the me thinking characters like me section of this video. But there are some characters, they are remembered, who definitely have not been very nice to me with showing up in the roles, and they are down here. The ones disliking me the most, I'd say, would be Chiara and Neurobride. As the two that remember the most, it would have been Super Orion down here as well, if he hadn't shown up during 2023 New Year's. And Himiko almost, just because that was bitter when that happened. Anyway, so that's my tier list. My first time ever making a tier list. If this was interesting, let me know. Maybe I'll do more of this sort of thing later. Anyway, take care.